Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new episode. It's a very hot day today, but there's still lots to do on the allotment and I probably shouldn't be up here in this heat. But there's a few little tasks that I want to do today. I need to plant out my Sugarsnap peas, which are desperate to be planted out. And there's also a few herbs that I need to plant out as well. So today's the day that I finally get my Sugarsnap peas out, and as you can see they should have really been planted out a while ago now, but the problem is we've had a couple of garden shows to sell at the past few weekends, so we've been struggling to find the time to come up here, so they've had to stay in their root trainers for a bit longer, which means that they've got a little bit tangled, which is going to prove a bit difficult, but I think if I'm just gentle with them and just try and prise them apart gently, everything should be fine. I'm also going to use these metal wigwams for them to grow up. Now my dad actually makes these and they're collapsible too because you can take the rings off. So they fold up nice and flat as well, so they can be stored behind the shed, which is always great. But they're nice and sturdy. And there's 6 poles, so I'm going to put 1 pea plant per pole and then I'm going to put 1 in the centre as well. I'll try and get the most from this space. And what I'm also going to do is maybe plant a butternut squash or a crown prince squash to grow underneath, because it just feels like there's a lot of wasted space there, and especially at the front. So if I place the squash at the front, it can grow backwards. I just need to make the most of my tiny space. So this variety is a Sugarsnap variety and it's called Spring Blush. Now this is my first ever time growing Sugarsnap, but they're sort of a new obsession with me. We've recently been buying them for our roast dinners and they've just been so delicious because obviously you eat the whole pod, which is going to prove a bit difficult to actually take them home because I'll probably just scoff them all up the allotment, which isn't a bad thing, of course. This variety grows to about 6 foot tall, which is the same height as me and about the same height as these wigwams. Now they've been pushed into the ground, and they also have the most beautiful pink flowers, which I'm really looking forward to, because obviously they not only look nice but they produce a delicious crop, and the crop should be ready to harvest from June to September time, and you just need to keep picking them really. So I'm going to plant them on the inside and just dig a hole deep enough for your seedling to drop into. And now this is going to be the difficult part. Let's try and find a row here. This is what you really don't want to happen to your pea plants. But like I said, we've just been so busy. So we just haven't had the time to come up here when we needed to. So I always grow my beans and my legumes in these root trainers. They've always been really great. And they look really good. I gave them a little water before I brought them up here. Oh, you need to let go of each other. You can join each other again in a minute. So just pop it into the hole and backfill it back in. And if, like me, you've let your peas grow a little bit, you can help them to go up the pole. So I'm just going to do the same on every pole and then in the gaps of every pole with this one and that one. And then the peas should be happy, and so should I, because I'm going to get a delicious crop soon. So that's the peas all been planted out now, and they've been watered in, so they should be happy. There were quite a few casualties in the mix there because they were so tangled together, and I tried to do it so gently, but there were a few broken ones, but hopefully they're going to sprout out again from the bottom, so they should be fine. They'll just be a little bit later than the others, but I'm just so glad that they're finally in. But now that they are planted up, I'm going to move on to the herbs that I'll be planting up today. Now this is just a small selection of the herbs that I'll be growing on the plot this year. I mentioned in my planning video, which was put on earlier on in the year, about all the herbs that I'll be growing for medicinal use and for making teas with as well, and also edible flowers for the same reasons. But these three are ready to be planted out. So I'm going for quite a few of the standard ones, which I'll be also using for cooking. So there'll be thyme and mint and sage, but there's also a few more unusual ones like skullcap and lady's mantle, which are going to be used for making tea with. And I've got this book called Infuse, and I actually reviewed it in one of my vlogs, but it's one of my favourite books, and it's just full of so much inspiration. And I sat there reading all the different teas and how they help you inside, and writing down, you know, the herbs that were put into these specific teas, and I chose the ones that I wanted to help me. So there's some growing happily at home. These three here that I'll be planting up today, I'll have to admit, they weren't grown by seed. They were, well, this mint was bought from a garden centre. This one mint here was from one of our garden shows, and this thyme was a birthday present from my parents last week, so I'm really excited about that one. So first of all, I'm going to talk about mint, and as most of you probably know, it's very invasive, so I'll be planting my mint into containers. And I have this old bucket which had a mint in before, but I neglected it a little bit, so I'm going to make a mental note to look after this one. There has been a big hole drilled in the bottom, and I just place an old broken piece of terracotta pot over the hole. Now if you're using containers, they need to have drainage in them. Anything that you're planting, it will need drainage. Now I planted something into a huge pot over that side of the shed, and I didn't drill holes in it. I don't know why. I thought that I did, but I came up here one day and it was full to the brim of water. So you need to drill holes or buy containers that have drainage holes in the bottom. So I've got my bucket, and I'm going to plant, I think, this mint into it. Now this is a very special mint, and I'm relatively new to the mint obsession because you've got your bog standard mint. This one's spearmint, which is very standard. Oh, it smells so lovely though, so strong. But when we were at a garden show, there were quite a few people there selling herbs, and I never realised how many different mints you could get. You know, you can get apple mint and pineapple mint and banana mint and, you know, a million other different mints. But this one jumped out to me just because it's called strawberry mint. And you're probably thinking, a mint can't smell like strawberry, but I kid you not, and I'm definitely not lying. This smells exactly like strawberry. It's the most lovely smell, so I just couldn't resist it. I had to take it home. I think it was about £3, which isn't much at all. And it says a fragrant strain of mint, culinary uses, used in cocktail and fruit drinks. It just sounds amazing. So like I said, I just couldn't resist it. So this one's going to go in this container, and then my spearmint is going to go into a larger container, which I didn't bring up with me today. But it's going to go into a slightly larger, probably like a small oval tub, and I'm going to place it in front of the rose bush there. So when I'm cooking my potatoes in the shed, I can come out here, cut a bit of spearmint, and pop it in the pot with the potatoes, because you honestly can't beat new potatoes with some mint. Like, oh, and butter, not forgetting the butter, of course. I honestly can't wait, and my potatoes have just popped up, so hopefully it won't be too long till I get to taste it all. So yeah, that's going to go into a container as well, because like I said, they're very, very invasive. The thyme, on the other hand, is going to be planted out on the plot in the flower bed. Now I'm going to put it behind the apple tree, and again, this will be used for cooking, and it will also be used for making tea with as well. And again, the smell is just so lovely. It just reminds me of roast dinners. So yeah, that's going to go in my flower bed behind the apple tree, and I'm hoping that it's just going to grow massive. Because I didn't want to plant any flowers behind the apple tree because it's going to be a little bit restricted to actually get to. So I thought, oh, nice big rosemary bush. So I asked for this for my birthday, and my parents got it for me, which I'm so thankful for. I just love it. The one thing you do need to know about thyme is that it's a Mediterranean herb, so you need to place it in a very sunny spot. And what I'm going to do when I dig the hole, I'm going to place some, oh here it is, horticultural sand into the hole, and then put the thyme on top, because obviously it's from the Mediterranean, so it likes hot places. So hopefully it's going to thrive there. And I can't wait to be making my own teas and of course my own cocktails with my strawberry mint and all the other herbs. But I'm going to pot this little strawberry mint up now, and I'm using different compost to what I usually use. Let me just find a knife. Oh no, I can do it. Usually, and again I'm going to admit to buying cheap compost before, and let me tell you now, it's completely not worth it. Not worth it at all. So I've splashed out a little bit on this peat-free Miracle Grow compost. I'm going to use it to do some potting on later as well in the greenhouse. It's best to use peat-free compost because then your containers won't dry up as quick. Where have I put my trowel now? I'm forever losing, forever losing my trowels. So like I said, there's a hole drilled in the bottom of the container. There's a broken bit of terracotta pot over the hole. I'm just going to fill the container with my lovely peat-free compost. So obviously containers do dry out a lot quicker than the ground, but peat-free is just so much better. And I think my little strawberry mint deserves the best, because I honestly, I can't describe the smell, but it doesn't do it any justice at all. Now I'm probably going to place this container over by my flower bed. And the best thing to do with your herbs is just keep picking them. You keep picking the leaves, keep picking the flowers, and you'll have a much more productive plant. Oh, there's a wood louse on there. So this should hopefully fill the container in no time. I mean, when I bought that spearmint about a week ago, it was really, really small, so it didn't take long to grow at all. And then obviously you can separate your mint. So if you've got a really, really big pot of mint, you can just cut it down the middle and create two plants. So hopefully this strawberry mint will grow nice and strong and I can get more plants from it. And that's one mint done. So I'll give it a nice watering. I'll place it over in the flower bed. I can't do this spearmint today because I haven't got the container up here, but I will be planting out my thyme now before heading home for dinner. I think a bird just flew past my head then really quickly. Right, let's get the watering can. But I hope you enjoyed that video and thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.